JHK here for Sports Kita, and joining me right now is UFC heavyweight contender Chris Daukaus. Chris, always good to see you, man. I see you got the beard growing in. What's up?
Well, yeah, growing the beard out. Don't really have to be shaving much any of these days. So I'm just kind of just letting it go, and just I'm full in on this camp. I'm really focused on the fight coming up with Shamil, and that's all I'm really focusing on. So,
did you let go of the job, the police officer position?
I'm still employed by the city of Philadelphia. I had some time saved up, so I'm using that, because if I don't use the time, then I'm kind of out of it. They're not going to pay me for the time that I have saved, so I might as well use it. You know what I mean? So using that time and just enjoying, my stay-at-home dad, I guess, a little bit. It's a little weird, being a stay-at-home dad now, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's cool, man. Spend more time with the kids, and you get to focus on your other career.
That's right, and that's been the whole, the plan since the beginning. So
yeah. So it's good to see it all working out, man. When you look at what you've done so far in the UFC, man, 3 straight wins, 3 straight finishes, first round finishes. But one thing that sticks out to me mostly is all those guys had different styles. So it must have benefited you extremely, man, heading into this next fight, that you've faced like these different styles, these different body types.
Yeah, it's definitely something. I try not to get too wound up on what my opponent's style is. I like to implement my game plan, make my opponents worry about me, and that's pretty much what I've been doing, especially for the past 3 fights. So like you said, they've been a wide variety of like skill sets and body types. I mean, you go from Parker Porter, who was, I think he was like 280 something, 290 on the night of fight night. So going from him to Rodrigo Nascimento, who was just at 265, but he was taller than me, he was bigger, he's longer. And then you go to Olenek, and it just shows you that I'm not really concerned about the different, the wide variety of body types that are in the UFC heavyweight division. I'm more concerned about my skill set and implementing what I do in the cage on my opponents.
In the first 3 fights, you've passed everything with flying colors, but if you could nitpick anything that you did or that you allowed your opponent to do, what would it be?
Hit me. Really, I mean, the Parker Porter fight, certain things I was letting him get away with. I wasn't moving my head with off of certain exchanges. When I was done throwing my strikes or whatever like that, I was getting caught on that. So that's a little nitpick from that fight. The Nascimento fight, little bit, he caught me in the beginning. I should have been moving my head a little bit more. But, and then the Olenek fight, we were drilling the clinches a lot. He isolated my arm with the Russian, with the overhook, and then he had the wrist control. I went to go underneath to try and get my arm out, but he locked that up as well. And that was kind of where the fight was, and then he ended up pulling guard. I mean, other than that, I mean, I thought I did really well, especially with the striking exchanges, obviously, finishing everybody, but, maybe just a little bit, more defensively sound on all my fights. And, that's just something that I always try and improve on, especially with the heavyweights, because like I said before, everyone throws really big bombs and everyone hits really hard. So
with the rise that you've been on, it almost kind of parallels to Ciryl Gane, kind of quietly rising through the ranks and then getting bigger fights and just winning everything. So that's probably the plan, right? You kind of come in the next wave of that.
That's it. Yeah. So, the plan is to keep winning, to put on impressive shows, to make everyone remember who I am. And when they get that call, it's, oh yeah, you're going to fight Chris Daukaus. They're at their top game. And that's what I want. I want the top tier guys. I want the best guys in the world. I want to prove to the world and to myself and to everyone who believes in me that I am one of the best, if not the best heavyweight in the world. And I'm in no better organization to prove that.
And you get to put Philly back on the map, right?
Philly back on the map. That's it. That's it. We got a bunch of us coming up, so it's really good. It feels good to be able to do that.
Yeah, for sure. And after your last fight, you asked for a guy ranked higher than you, a guy in the top 10. They gave you Shamil. Were there any other names thrown around before you signed that contract?
No. No, I was expecting maybe Sakai. I was expecting that. Or maybe Rosenstrike, but then they ended up fighting each other. But no other names were given to me. It was strictly Shamil. He was having, I think it was like visa issues or something. That's why he pulled out of his last fight. I don't think it was like an injury or anything like that. So hopefully they're all taken care of. Everything's good, and as of now, we're still good to go. So I'm really excited.
So what is the outlook of this matchup? What is the coaches telling you?
They're just stick to my game plan, and as long as I fight my fight and be able to push the pace on people, I have nothing to worry about. He's a good fighter. He's a veteran. He's been in there with some of the best guys in the world, and I think his last two losses are against the top 3 or top 4 guys in the division. I know he lost to Derrick Lewis, and his most recent loss was to Curtis Blades, and that was in 2019. So he's fighting the top tier guys, and if I get past him, and when I get past him and finish him, it's just going to prove to everyone that I'm one of those guys.
So he is. Would you consider him the toughest test, the test that will put you into that top echelon of the division?
At this moment, I would say yeah. My last one was that Olenek, but I took his spot at number 10. So Shamil is number 7 as of now. So yeah, he's definitely the toughest test to date. But every fight from here on out is going to be my toughest fight, and that's just how it is in the division, and that's really the only fights I want. I don't want any kind of handouts or anything like that. I want to prove that I'm the best, like I said, and there's no better way to do that than taking out the top guys in the division.
How do you handle the anxiety of that? Of every fight from here on, or the fights that you've been fighting are against the best guys in the world, and then the next challenge is the tougher challenge and tougher as you go. How do you handle the anxiety?
I've been really big on my brother turned me on to like mental coaches and the whole mental aspect of the game, and I really think that that's where I turned my career around and really made this push, and been pushing into the UFC. It's just having that unwavering self-belief that you are the best in the world and that no one will outwork you, that all the work that you do in the gym and all the work that you do outside of the gym, that your opponent's not doing that, and even if they are doing it, it's not going to matter. It's just a undeniable self-belief that when I make that walk and the moment my feet touch that canvas, that I am the number 1 heavyweight in the world, and I just have to be able to keep winning and just keep proving that. And it might not be this fight, it probably won't be the next fight, but 2 or 3 fights down the line, I might have a shot at claiming that belt, and I'm really excited for it.
For sure. Now, Shamil, he's been out for almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
Had a bunch of cancel fights, like you mentioned. Are you a believer in ring rust, or does it all depend on the opponent?
I think it all depends on the opponent, to be honest with you. He comes from the Dagestan Russian area over there. He's training with those savages. He's going to be able to perform. There's no doubt in my mind that he's not going to be able to do that. As of now, the fight is in the Apex, so I think that'll also play a factor for him, for helping him. Yeah, he took some time off, but having that no crowd feel, you could hear your coaches, it'll just be like another training session. It'll just be like another sparring session. So that's going to be a thing that'll play in his favor. But I've been the more active fighter. I've been a more active fighter in just this past 6-8 months. I've had 3 or 4 fights. So I'm really hoping that plays a factor in it. I mean, if it plays a factor, it plays a factor. It is what it is to me. But I just feel that I'm the better fighter, and he's only getting older. I think he's 38, 39 now, and 31. I just think I'm too fast for him. I'm too strong for him, and I think I hit too hard.
So how do you see this fight playing out? Do you even think he'll make it out of the first round? Because nobody has yet.
Yeah, no one has yet, and that's kind of like the whole big I want to say like question with me is can I get out of the first round? I don't see it getting out of the first round, but I'm more than prepared to go out of the first round. I train with my brother all the time, and he's a cardio savage. So, I can go 3s or 5s with him. It doesn't matter. No one is gonna push the pace on me the way that he does and my other training partners do. When it's sparring rounds and I got a fresh guy every 2 minutes, every 2.5 minutes that's trying to whoop my ass, and I have to, do 3 to 5 rounds with these fresh guys. And there's nobody that's going to be able to push me like that. And I think that that's going to be a major factor, especially in this fight, just because of, like I said, he's a little older. He hasn't, been fighting since 2019. So we'll see how it goes. And I definitely think that I can get him out in the first round.
All right. Now, before I let you go, I just wanted to pick your brain on a couple of the topics. The
Sure.
first one is, earlier this week, reported Derrick Lewis, Ciryl Gane, they're going to face off UFC 265 for the interim heavyweight title. Francis Ngannou just won the title 3 months ago.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Yeah, weird.
What do you think the reasoning behind this is?
I have no idea. I mean, I thought Francis, was like taking time off, and then he was going to Africa, like doing everything with the belt, which you should. I think that's like a great marketing thing for the UFC. It's a great story for him. He's going back to where he grew up. I think that he should be able to do that. But for whatever reason, it's been, I think his management and Dana were going back and forth, and someone posted like a screenshot of like the conversation. Like, it's only been 3 months. It's not like he's been sitting out for a year and a half. So there's really no reason why this is happening. I don't know. Maybe it's a money thing. Maybe it's a timing thing. I don't know. But it just seems extremely weird that, that it happened so quickly. I don't know if they're just not on good terms. I don't know. So it's very interesting. But, my brother tweeted it out, and I feel the same, that the interim belt holder, whoever wins that, is just the number one contender. So that's really all it is. I'd love to obviously get my hands on a belt, but, it'll just be the number one contender to me. And then you're not the true champion until you beat the champion. So.
All right. Then what is your breakdown of that fight, Lewis versus Gane?
I was actually having this discussion with my brother today. I posed a question to him that, do I think it'll be like Francis and Lewis the first go around? I said it might be. He doesn't seem to think so. I think that Gane will push the pace a little bit early, especially with the kicks. Get his range down, try and catch Lewis like that. But I think Lewis will be patient. It's a 5-5s. So he's going to be super patient with everything. He'll look for that big knockout. But I don't know. It's going to be super exciting. I hope it's exciting. But I have belief in the Black Beast. I think he'll get it done.
The Black Beast is like a rocket launcher, right? It's like that one, like you're gonna save up.
That's a one, dude.
Yeah,
it's that one. He's got that. He's got that. Whatever it is, he's got. But he can. It's either he can do it to you 30 seconds into the fight, or he can do it to you with 10 seconds left in the fight. So that's the most dangerous thing. I mean, I honestly think he's got more power than Francis, strictly because of the way Francis respected him when they first fought. And, if you drag Francis, now granted, if you would drag Francis into the deep waters, his power, you would think, would fade a little bit. But Derrick Lewis's power doesn't seem to go anywhere, especially no matter how hard he's working. So in my opinion, he's a scarier fighter.
There's a video going around with Joe Schilling, a former Bellator fighter.
Yeah.
You've probably seen it, right? From a perspective of a police officer, what do you see?
It's hard. Schilling, he was walking by him. The guy did like a little flinch at him. You can make the argument. That's the thing. You can make the argument that the guy was, he was going to hit Joe, or that's what Joe believed was going to happen. So in Joe's defense, he defended himself. But then you could also make the case that, Joe was there the whole night. Joe knew how he was. He knew that maybe he was drinking. Maybe, the guy's whole party was drinking. It's he should have handled it better. You can make the argument for both cases. It's very difficult. I don't know what to do with that, because that's it's a weird thing. And that's, obviously you do what you have to do. Someone's, he's that in In Philadelphia, that would be like considered aggravated assault because he knocked him unconscious. He lost his consciousness. That's automatic aggravated assault. So obviously Joe will be getting locked up for that. So, but whether or not the charges would be filed on him, whether or not they would go through the court proceedings, that's a whole different thing. But at least he would be locked up that night, probably, depending on if he was still there. So it's a shitty situation because from Joe's side of the story, the guy was being an asshole the whole time. He was, saying racial slurs the whole time. He was being drunk. He was being rude and all that, especially to the wait staff and the waiters. So does that make it right? No, but, it's, I don't know.
The law's the law, right?
The law is the law. Yes, the law is the law. But, it's kind of like a weird thing. Like he made that the motion that he was going to hit Joe. So like I said, Joe does have that self-defense aspect to it where the guy like flinched at him. Joe stepped back, hit him with the cross hook and dropped him right there. And what's really good is I don't think in the video Joe didn't follow up on anything. He just hit him with the cross hook and the guy dropped and that was it. So that really works in Joe's favor. But it's the totality of the circumstances that, is what plays a factor. Like, could you prove that Joe knew that the guy was looking for a fight? Was the guy even looking for a fight? Was he being rude to everyone that walked by? Was Joe's seat right there? Did Joe have to walk by him? Could he have walked around? Could he have went a different way? Maybe he was going outside the smoke. Maybe he was going to the bathroom. Like, we don't know what could happen. Now, obviously, other parties will play a factor in that as far as, witnesses and, people who were on scene who got that little interaction. Like, you don't know what the words were exchanged between Joe and the guy. Like, the guy could have been like, blah, 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 blah. And Joe could have been like, whatever, dude. And the dude, like, flinched at him. That's it. Or the dude could have been completely, sober and just being a jerk about everything and decided to flinch at Joe. And, I've seen this on the internet, too, that his shirt was like, cage, ring, or parking lot. So that plays a factor. Like you as an individual, that also plays a factor, especially like when it gets further down the line, if it goes to court, like all that gets brought up. Like that's going to go against Joe. Like Joe's history of being a professional fighter for, X amount of years, that's all going to go against Joe. And that's what he has to realize. Now, granted, like if he felt a certain way that his life was in danger, or if he felt that his life was threatened, by all means, defend yourself 100%. I have no problem with that. But just be aware that if you're a pro fighter out there and someone steps to you like that and you knock them out and you put them unconscious, it's going to come back and it's going to get brought up. They're going to say, oh, you could have shot for a double leg. You could have just de-escalated the situation. You could have kept your distance. You could have, backed up. You seen that this guy was clearly intoxicated, and you can't handle an intoxicated fighter or an intoxicated guy at the bar when you're supposed to be like a world-class athlete who gets paid to fight against other people who are trained, and you can't just, take care of like some random guy in a bar. So there's a lot of things that play a factor in it, and it just sucks. It sucks. It's a whole big shitty situation.
It is, definitely. And you want to hear something crazy, man? Every country has different laws, especially with combat in the street. And in Korea, right? Let's say you and me were out and we don't know each other. We're in the street. Okay. Let's say it's like the party area and I'm drunk and I come up to you and I sucker punch you, right? You don't even know who I am. I sucker punch you and you turn around and beat the shit out of me, right?
Yeah.
In Korea, the person that gets attacked takes the most damage is the one that is the victim.
What?
Yeah, I just told you the story,
That's
right?
Horrible. Yeah. That's horrible.
I don't know why the law's like that here, but
that's
how it works. So, like, you could get into a straight-up fight, and if you beat the dude up, he has the opportunity to sue you for damages.
That doesn't make any sense.
Even though I attacked you, Chris, in the street.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I hit you. I don't drop you. You turn around, you whoop my ass, and then all of a sudden you're the victim? That doesn't make any kind of sense.
Exactly.
No, that shouldn't work at all. That should not work at all.
I just wanted to tell you that because I think you'll enjoy that kind of law over here, man.
That's crazy. But, what's really cool? It's not cool. It's very interesting as far as the law aspect. I believe it's in Washington State.
Yeah.
It's a mutual combat law. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. If me and you are at a bar, we don't know each other. you say something to me, I say something to you. We say, okay, we'll do this, and we just call the cops like, yo, we want to fight. Like, all right, here, sign this real quick. All right, go ahead and go. I'm totally fine with that. I think that would solve a lot of issues, like a lot of personal issues, a lot of issues, especially in like some of the other neighborhoods. Definitely solve a lot of issues. So I'm all for the whole mutual combat law, but it has to be, you know, under guidance, in my opinion. So
yeah, for sure, man. And yeah, if that situation ever happened, I would not sign the paper to fight you. So let's just get that clear.
Come on, man. I'll take it easy. It'll be all right. No hands. How about that?
You'd have to wear like the 36-ounce gloves a day if you even make those.
That's fine with me. With the giant gloves like this hitting you from across the room. I'm cool with that.
All right, man. Well, hey, man. July 24th, UFC Fight Night. You're back in action. Appreciate the time, Chris, always, and good luck. And hopefully, man, you get that top 5 next, man. Who knows?
That's it. Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me on, and yeah, hopefully the top 5 is coming soon enough.